We had an exciting first week to be able to open up the Star, the Cowboys' new practice facility. Had a whole lot of hype surrounding just playing in a new stadium, and Frisco ISD having a great facility for all of their home games. And so there were a lot of distractions throughout the week with different news media coming by. We had Channel 4, Channel 8, Channel 11, all kinds of different ones coming out wanting to interview our players and our coaches. And it was an exciting week, but it was also a week full of distractions. And I say that because we also opened up with our first district ball game, which we've never done that before. I don't know of any coach in the state of Texas that's opened up their season with a district ball game. So our focus was trying to remain focused on what our jobs were within the lines and not necessarily worry about all of the hype and the excitement of opening up the Star facility. So we got to go over there and walk through it first, which was a good experience for our guys. They got to catch passes and field punts and kickoffs in that stadium, get used to the lights and the ceiling, playing in a domed area. What we weren't ready for was how the noise and how loud it was in there. So it's difficult for anybody on the field to hear a coach from the sideline trying to tell them anything. But I thought our players really adapted well and played really well the first week. We were really glad to get out of there with our first district win and open up the season with a win. And so that's going to put us where we need to be going forward. We got to keep improving if we're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. Reedy was a good football team. Their first varsity game ever, first varsity season, and they got a lot of good things in store for them. Coach Cole and his staff did an outstanding job preparing them, and they're well coached, and they're going to be a team that surprises a lot of other teams in the future. Not expecting them to be as good as they are in their first year. But our offensive line, just as far as we're concerned with the Knights, our offensive line did an outstanding job coming off the ball and opening up holes for our running game. We had a really good running game this first ball game. Dom Williams, Brandon Williams, Ryan Houston, all of those guys ran the ball really well. And then Kyle Sadler had a good game throwing the ball. We only threw it, I believe, 13 times total. He threw it 11, and Kevin Dick had the other passes. But Kyle had 3 touchdown passes out of 11 of those throws. So did a good job there. And then defensively, did a really good job of limiting them. If it hadn't been for a penalty or two, I think we could even kept the field goal off the board. But we wanted to make sure everybody got in the game and played and had an opportunity to stay on the field. But defensively, we were physical, but we got to improve there as well. So kind of where we're at now, we're moving forward, getting ready for Denton Braswell, another brand new school. They're just like Reedy and like we were opening up. So they don't have seniors this first year either. We're going to Denton to play in Collins Stadium, and we'll do that on Friday night and look forward to our second game, which will be our first non-district game. And hopefully we'll see a lot of improvement from the first game to the second one. Even though the score looked overwhelmingly in our favor, when you go back and watch video, there's a lot of things that we got to improve and correct to get better and to become a playoff team. So we got a lot of room for improvement this week, and hopefully we'll see it on the Braswell video this next weekend. I'll open it up for questions and see what y'all got for me.
Brett, let's start with you. We've seen you use a lot of quarterbacks, but when it really comes down to crunch time in the fourth quarter, who can we expect to see on the field?
As of right now, it'll be Kyle Sadler. Sadler is our starter. We do use both him and Kevin Dick because we want to get another guy ready to play if something happens, and he needs to be ready for next year as well. Don't want the first time they step on the field to be their first varsity experience. So we do rotate in quarterbacks to get everybody experience in case something happens to one of them. The other one's got experience right now, and then in the future they'll be ready to play. But right now, Kyle Sadler is our starter, and if it were crunch time, he would be the one that's in the ball game right now.
How do you feel like your football program has progressed since the opening of Independence, and what actions/attributes did you see on Saturday's game?
I think we've progressed really well over these 3 years. I guess this is our 3rd year right now. First year we didn't have but one player with any varsity experience on the field, and we were very similar to Reedy and Braswell in that respect, that not many guys had played varsity before, and it was pretty obvious. We had a hard time making tackles the first year, and then weren't able to stop very many people at all. We've become more physical last year, got more physical. We won our first district ball game against Little Elm and competed better. Still got blown out in most of the district games, but we were a better football team last year than we were the first year. And then this year we've even progressed further. course, Dom Williams has moved in. Al Abbott is also moved in on the defensive side of the ball. So we've got a couple of other players that are here that are helping us. But overall, our team is more physical. We're basically better blockers on offense and better tacklers on defense, which is really what the game comes down to.
So how do you think the team can carry the momentum from the huge win last week into this week against a new school and also stay poised and controlled at the same time?
Great question. That's what I'm worried about right now. After you come off a big win like that, you do have a lot of confidence, and you want confidence, but you don't want overconfidence or become complacent with where we are. So we've got to make sure that we continue to improve, and that's what we told them. Our focus is on us this week. We made some mistakes, even though we blew them out. We made some mistakes that we got to get corrected and improved upon. Big in the kicking game, we got to have better kickoff and punt coverage. We had a couple of guys out of their lanes, and they gave them some running lanes on their punt and kickoff returns. And then on our extra points, PAT protection, we gave up a couple of gaps there where they could have possibly blocked an extra point. We got to get that corrected. And then just our overall fits on defense. We had a couple of busts there too. One in coverage that they completed a pass down the field on us that we were just in the wrong coverage. Our corner and our safety weren't on the same page as far as what coverage we were in. We got to get that corrected because people will take advantage of that. So to answer your question, we got to make sure that we keep improving and we don't go into it overconfident and thinking, hey, we've arrived and that we're where we want to be. We're a long way from where we need to be when we start district play and make sure that we're as good as we can be.
What do you expect from a new school, seeing how you clearly won from Reedy being a new varsity team?
Right.
What do you expect more from this new school?
From Denton Braswell
Yes,
in
sir.
particular. They're very similar to Reedy and just their first year program, as well as what Independence was 2 years ago. Really similar in just not having the varsity experience and being used to making sure that they can look to the sideline and get a signal and then go execute what was signaled in. So a lot of times you have difficulties doing that if you're not used to playing on a Friday night with the band playing and you can't hear and guys not being focused on what's going on. So that's a lot of times what you get with a new school that's opened up. But they do have a lot of athletic ability on the field, very similar to what we were. Got a lot of guys that can run and have a lot of speed, but just haven't gelled yet as a varsity team. It would have helped them to have a JV season. Reedy had a JV season last year, and I thought they did a good job executing, knowing what they were doing, and they all played with good effort too.
All right, thank you.
One last question.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to ask, like, what are some of your big goals for the team this year?
Well, the biggest goal, of course, would be a state championship. You don't ever want to sell somebody short, and that's kind of our motto is a state of mind. The biggest championship we can win in Texas is a state championship, where we are right here at Independence. So that's our biggest goal. Now, we back off from there. Secondly, we want to make sure that we get in the playoffs. And we'd love to get a district championship, but the main goal is to make sure that we have one of those playoff spots. So 4 teams out of our district will qualify, and it's a tough district here in Frisco ISD, and we're going to have to make a lot of improvement to make sure that we have a chance to make the playoffs this year. So that's a huge goal of ours, and it's a team-oriented goal. We don't have a lot of individual goals. We want to focus on the team and know that we is greater than me, so that everybody's doing their part to help the team succeed.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right.